Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. All right, everyone. I need some serious prayer again. Once again, I'm in one of those moments where my stomach is in a knot because there's so much potential and so much room for mistake as well, and all of that. What has happened is that I recently contacted, I don't even want to mispronounce her name, uh, Helene, Mary Curry's granddaughter. And we had talked about how I had extracted some radioisotopes from my vacuum cleaner, and it just greatly fascinated her. And we had been talking, and I may go see her at some point. And I a lot of anxiety. Don't want to get it wrong because this is my one chance to finally make something of myself. I don't have the right connections. Right, you guys may remember 5-10 years ago, I was writing the number one AI for backgammon, for international checkers, for a bunch of other games, but I think what I was missing was connection. Right, I still have the number one AI for the game of backgammon. I've never made a penny off of it. I've never really learned anything out of it, or connected with anybody, or made any career moves out of it. Right, I did show my hiring manager here when I first applied to teach at Glendale Community College, but that was it, right? There are a million other things I could have showed that hiring manager, even the art that I'm making with the math puzzles, right? So I really feel gypped in that regard, right? I think what I'm missing is connection. Uh, there's also the potential of meeting other scientists through her, right? So I hope to go see her this summer, but a lot of uncertainty and I, it's 9 a.m. right now. I don't even want to log on to my email because I don't want to get upset that she didn't respond or that she responded badly in some way, and that's the kind of anxiety we're talking about. I may be missing emails from work, but I don't even care. And unfortunately, that has plagued my life all year long. I had a time where there was a lot of uncertainty with other people in my life. Give you an idea, there was another girl that I met at a speed dating event, and one day she wanted me to go pick her up, and then she went silent, and just my stomach was in a knot. And when I got to see her, I probably didn't present myself very well because of how unedged I was. And It probably doesn't go very well when that happens. And then the girl in Taiwan, when I finally go to see her after all of this up and down, multiple cycles of ghosting, right? I'm probably not going to play it out very well. Unfortunately, I learned from all of these experiences that here in the United States, you are largely on your own when it comes to dating. And so the funny thing is that when you finally get married and have kids, now you get all the support. I'd rather the support on the way there, not when I'm finally there, right? Actually, I'd rather it be both, but it kind of reminds me how we handle our economy here in the United States, right? Imagine I went out and inherited a lot of money, right? Or maybe not inherited, but won the lottery in some regard. One of the metals I own goes up by a millionfold, right? Now all of a sudden I can get all the support to have tax write-offs and all that, right? But on the way there, you have to get lucky. You have to pick the right metal on the periodic table, right? Or you have to pick the right lottery numbers or whatever. Although a lot of lottery winners don't handle it very well, right? Even though they could potentially get all this support, right? And so dating kind of feels like that too, in some ways, right? But I've kind of accepted my fate that I might right now I you guys saw last week I was applying for other work because I really embarrassed myself this semester at Glendale Community College because of all the fallout from the dating scene. Unfortunately, I got myself into a serious conflict with two sets of roommates, if you could believe it. Uh, what had happened was, well, I'll talk about the last set of roommates. I had two roommates who were heavy drinkers. One of them was probably an alcoholic, and I had my dating dramas. And one day I needed to unwind, and my roommate couldn't stop bothering me about a mistake I had made a couple days ago. And I learned that I don't know if any of you guys have ever lived with a roommate who cannot let go of a grudge, and also as an artist, I really don't take it well when somebody threatens to kick me out of the home. Yeah, you may say that they can't legally do that, but threats like that, when I have a lot of fragile stuff in the home, and when the weather's not very conducive, I need at least a day or two to move things from one place, safely move everything. Threats like "you got to leave tonight" really don't go well. I can only my heart goes out to people who have kids and have to deal with that. Uh, it's bad enough to have inanimate objects and have to deal with that. And so, not surprisingly, I reacted from my gut instead of my head when that happened. My roommates were drunk at the time. I was still reeling from what had happened. Was it was a Tuesday night. I This is the student union at Glendale Community College. One day, I couldn't believe what was happening. 18-year-old girl was talking to me. She was really interested in my art projects. We had a really good conversation, and she even followed me to the engineering building because she was thinking about pivoting her career, her studies. And we had a good discussion. And by the time I finished that interaction, I was drained. I went out to my favorite grocery store, and finally, a food item that I had been missing for some time finally gets restocked. And when I go home, I just couldn't wait to dig into that. And then my roommate starts bothering me about a couple days ago when I had an interaction with one of their neighbors that he wanted to not be involved with. I had already apologized multiple times, and he refused to even listen out to the apology. I wanted to elaborate to it, but and so anyway, I don't want to get into the details of what happened. Long story short, it left a mess in terms of me moving out. I would have been happy to move out if that's his ulterior goal, but he caused my life to go into a mess after moving out. In large part because my guess is that he probably had a relationship with one of his neighbors in the adjoining house, and he wanted to not he wanted things to cool off, and it bothered him that I had talked to one of his neighbors. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.